and we're going to start our study session.
Joe won't need the ladder.
No, I'm not saying that. It's okay. I got one because everybody talking. All righty. I have item number 8, and I will do it by Monday. Councilor Bay.
Thank you. I have items number 9 through 11. Item number 9, I don't know if there's any additional questions that my colleagues would have on that item. But if not, then I'll call.
It's the same one.
No? Yes? No? All right. And all of these items pass our committee, and if there's no other questions, I'll call these items later.
Councilor Green.
Thank you, Madam President. So first item is number 12, which is the Microsoft agreement. I'm just assuming there's no update from the last meeting. I'll just say this. So I'm frustrated that after months, we've gotten no tangible update from Microsoft on their commitment to the Digital Alliance partnership with Syracuse. We're 2 years into a 3-year MOU, and the fact that we can't get a straight answer is unacceptable. I know the line from Microsoft as to why they can't follow through in their commitments is that COVID's changed things, but for Microsoft, they have changed things, and they've gotten significantly better. Microsoft is now the most valuable publicly traded company in the world at over $2.5 trillion with a T dollars. Their stock was $143 a share in November 2019 when this was signed. It's now $335 a share, up over 133%. Part of the reason the stock has increased so much is that Microsoft had an extra $60 billion with a B dollars in cash that it used to buy back its own stock. So the idea that COVID has made Microsoft unable to live up to its commitments to Syracuse is total malarkey. They have more resources than ever before. They just don't feel like living up to their word, and they simply don't care how disrespectful it is to our community. The last 2 years have been a financial windfall for Microsoft, so the idea that they now can't do things like assist with research, help develop a digital ethics policy, support 4 local fellowships, or even open a Syracuse office, whether it's a physical space or utilizing remote employees, is nonsense. I'm going to hold this item for one more meeting. My hope is that before then, Microsoft will have at least the decency to give us a straight answer on where they stand on their commitments. If they don't, my preference would be to give this an RFP to see if there's other companies out there with a stronger track record that would be better fit. But I will advance the item at our December 20th meeting and then leave that decision up to the administration. Any questions from colleagues? Okay. Item 13, that is the SU agreement. I'll invite Commissioner Collins up.
Councilors, Commissioner Michael Collins from Neighborhood and Business Development. I just want to say to start with, it's great to see everybody back in the form that you were when I first started in this job.
Yeah, we don't like this that much.
And it's going back.
Oh, all right. So I should have asked first, Councilor. Update with the shared services agreement. We have taken into account the feedback we've gotten from the neighbors. Certainly the feedback from our transportation planner, Neil Burke, from Parks Commissioner Julie Lefebvre. We've managed to package that all back up and send that back with revisions to Syracuse University. We expect to hear back from them later this week.
Questions?
Yeah. So, Commissioner Collins, is there going to be a new agreement then?
Well, we are revising the agreement right now. So, okay, so yes, what we would put in front of you is a revised agreement.
This right here is what we would be voting on if FU agrees to it?
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite understand.
So if the university agrees to what you sent them, the proposal that we have in our books is going to be the current proposal?
No, Counselor, it would be updated.
The original was. The original? It's the original. We haven't had a substitution.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we will forward that as soon as we've got agreement from SU.
Thank you.
Commissioner, has there been any further discussion? I know that we had groups such as the Westcott Community Center, UNSAC, UMPA, all these other groups that are, their viability is dependent on this funding, and there was talks of separating the Thornton aspect out of it. Has SU been completely unresponsive to that request, or has that request been made formally, or where are we with that discussion about perhaps separating these into 2 agreements as a conversation?
So what we've tried to do is be as efficient as possible in getting the shared services agreement done so we can bring both forward at the same time, knowing that Syracuse University has stated that they're strong Preference, and my words, not theirs, is to do both at the same time. So we expect we'll be able to send something to you very shortly that would be comprehensive and have everything in it. If for some reason then we can't come to an agreement at that point, then I absolutely want to go back and take a look at separating.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Excuse me, Commissioner, but they don't have a choice as far as the shared services agreement. I mean, even if they separate, they still have to abide by the original agreement, correct?
So, Counselor, I'm glad you asked that question, because this is confusing to people that are not steeped in it all the time. It's actually the UNSAC agreement, which is the one that there is the need to carry on from prior ordinances. The shared services contains the UNSAC agreement, so that's why if we're not able to do it all at once, then we go back and we say then we need to really.
So we have no problems with, they're still going to do the ONSAC, the original agreement, correct?
We've had no issues with that whatsoever. Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Councilors.
Item 14 is an agreement for appraisal services. Is there any questions on that item? Correct. Item 12 and 13 are both being held. Okay. Item 15 is a one-year extension of our digital plan software through our code department. Any questions on that? Item 16 is the local law amending the school district budget. Any questions on that one? Okay. Item 17 is a legal settlement, so we'll have a executive session to discuss that one. 18 is approval of use of ARPA funds, $500,000 to home headquarters. This is one we were planning on holding, right? I'm just seeing this. I think we held this in the committee meeting, right? Yeah. So, I don't know if anyone, I'm planning on holding this one, but does anyone have any questions on this now while it's on the agenda?
No, I'm just looking back and seeing members of the administration nodding. I believe it was assumed it would be held.
Okay. Okay. So this one, I think we'll most likely withdraw this one because it's going to change when we go forward. So this will be withdrawn. Item 19 corrects the tax rolls for 615 Oneida Street. Any questions on that one? And then item 20 is a waiver of the bid to award the sidewalk snow clearing contract to JSK Snow Services. Any questions on that one?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment, and I'm going to ask this question. So when they do this, because I know we've done these types of things before, and we've asked for a sort of an apprenticeship training with our residents, is that going to happen?
Yeah, we discussed this in the first time around, and we're going to have those discussions with the contractor. They have hired city residents in the past, so they've been open to working with us.
How many city residents?
I believe they've hired 2 in the previous years, and they're a very small operation.
Any other questions on this item? Thank you, Madam President.
Councilor Kearney.
Thank you, Madam President. I have items 21 through 26. Is there someone that can speak to item 21? Anyone?
This is an offer from the owner of 1600 Erie Boulevard East to donate a portion of their property to the city of Syracuse, because the city, when they paved Lombard Avenue years and years ago, went outside the Lombard Avenue right-of-way and paved it, encroaching on this parcel. So this is there's a Well Now clinic there, if that helps you identify where it is. But it was a generous offer, and we think it would be beneficial for us to have our street on our property.
Okay. Are there any questions on this one? No? All right, we'll call that ready. Thank you. Item 22. Is there someone from engineering to speak on that one?
Good afternoon, councilors. Mary Robison, city engineer. This is amending an agreement with CNS Engineers to add the construction inspection services for an additional amount of $337,000 for the East Brighton Ave Bridge over the New York Susquehanna and Western Railroad superstructure replacement. This is a bridge. This is receiving Bridge New York funding, so we get 95% federal reimbursement. And the project's going to start in 2022.
Any questions on this item?
Does the railroad kick in anything?
No.
I'll call that one ready. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 23, is there someone to speak on that, about the assistance with low-income households with drinking water and wastewater reconnection?
Good afternoon, Joe Awald, Water Commissioner. Item 23 is to enter an agreement with New York State to participate in their New York State Low-Income Household Water Assistance Program. This is to assist anyone who's behind on their water bills that fall within their criteria. The way the program is kind of set up, that New York State's just rolling it out now, so we'll get more details as it, develops and application-wise. But somebody who fits their parameters can apply to the state to have their water bill or their backwater bill paid for, and the state would directly send the money to the water department to pay for the bill. Any questions on this one?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we know what the threshold is for these?
They just sent some of the paperwork over last week. I haven't looked at it in detail yet, but as soon as I get that information, I can forward it to the council.
Okay, great, thank you.
So is this kind of similar to the rent relief programs, but water?
I think so. Similar approach.
Is it specifically targeted for, in the spirit of the COVID year?
I think so, yeah. Specifically targeted for water bills, so, but yes.
One more question. Did they say how much?
I think it's, whatever your backwater bill is. I think it,
Because I'm reading it and it says, or whichever comes first, when the funding is exhausted, or whichever comes first. So
Right.
how much is the funding?
I don't know if they've designated the full pot of money yet and what that number is, but again, this program, we just got information of it, so we're jumping on it as quickly as we can, so we can provide some assistance to the water bill payers. Any other questions?
Okay. All right, if there aren't any more questions, I'm gonna call that item ready. Okay. Item 24. To agreement with Azteca for computerized maintenance management system. Is that also you?
Correct.
Okay. You walk us through exactly what that is.
Yep, so that's the software management system that we've implemented at the water department to track our work orders and our inventory and all things we do at the water department. We're adding a little bit of extra money to that contract because as we're rolling out each division within the water department, we don't want to be training our staff on our, go live software, not to misrepresent any fake work orders that we're creating as a training purposes. This is to create a training testing site, so as we train our employees to work with the software, we're not interrupting our data collection of our raw current data.
Are there any questions on this item? Hearing none, I'll call that ready. Okay, next item is application agreement with DASNY, the water pump.
Yes, this is to authorize and accept a $500,000 grant from DASNY for our Brighton pump station project. The project involves replacing Brighton pump station, approximately 3,000 feet of water main along Brighton Ave, and a new pressure reducing vault at our Lafayette Reservoir location.
Any questions on that one? Okay, call that ready. The last item, the watershed.
So item 26 is to enter in a contract with Cornell Cooperative Extension. It's part of our annual requirement for the water quality education program at the watershed. This is part of our filtration waiver requirement. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Yep, I'll call that one ready, and those are all of my items, and they are all ready, Madam President. Thank you.
Counselor Hogan.
Thank you, President Hudson. I have items 27 and 28. We have Commissioner of Parks and Recreation right here. Commissioner, I'm overjoyed the pond hockey tournament is coming back.
So are we.
And I'm sure Counselor Majuk is too, because it's in his council district.
Everybody should be thrilled.
I am too.
Julie LaFave, Commissioner of Parks and Recreation. Items number 27 and 28 are related to each other. We have a long-standing relationship with Office of Child and Family Services. The first one is to extend a contract, or sorry, I don't know which, one of them is to extend the contract just because we weren't able to fit all the programming into the year with the pandemic. And then the other one is to accept money directly from a separate funder instead of that money going to OCFS and then to us. The other funder is, sorry. Where is it? What's the name of Janet? CCSI, sorry about that. Oh, sorry, Coordinated Care Services Incorporated.
There's no local match.
No.
Okay. Any questions from my colleagues? Hearing none, I'll call that ready. 28 there, Commissioner. Yeah, that was 27 and 28.
Yes.
Okay, we're set.
Counselor Majuk.
Thank you, Madam President. I have item 29 to 31. The first item is a CRB item to accept $45 from Interfaith Work. Any questions? I know, Pro Tem, you like us receiving money, right? Item 30 is a combined or a joint application with Onondaga County to apply for $108,000, and it would the grant, if awarded, would be shared, split in half. Any questions? Look at this. I don't think I need Chief Cecil right now, do I? I'm good, right? I'm doing well, Chief? All right. Number 31. Another application for the fire department, $200,000. It required 10% local match. We spoke about this in the committee meeting. Any questions?
I was wondering if I could ask Chief Cecil a question, though. Chief, I tried to get a hold of you the other day after that incident at Fowler School, and I was just wondering if there were any arrests made or any conversation with the school district. That was a pretty serious incident that spilled out on Geddes Street.
Yeah, I sent you a text this morning.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So we did make at least one arrest for menacing and criminal possession of a weapon.
How many?
At least one that I know of. Looking through the reports, probably just one they got arrested.
And I imagine there's ongoing talks between the police department and the city school district regarding these incidents, as it seems to be a rash of them as far as the schools go.
Always. We're always in contact with them. Yep.
Okay. I was wondering maybe if Commissioner or Councilor Paniagua at some point would want to call a education committee meeting regarding the incidents that we're having at the city schools.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Chief Cecil, out of another question, have you received any word from our state representative in regard to cameras around the Valley Plaza, Valley area? Anything?
Well, we have two projects that were submitted. We haven't heard back from that. They are still, from what we have heard back from them as far as encouraging us to submit them. They seem very, very welcoming toward these projects. I will tell you, one of them is in Coolidge area. The other one is the Bellevue area. I don't believe it's, and if you're talking Valley Drive.
And Valentine area.
Yes, in Valentine, right.
Yeah.
We have done, so I did have the camera folks, IK Systems, go down and do a quote for us in that area too, so that we'll be ready for, if there's some more openings to submit further applications.
Yeah, the residents are quite anxious to have these cameras, especially on Valentine. So.
Correct. Yeah, and we're in contact with them. They're, as you know, they're great. Pam Hunter, Bill Magnarelli, and Senator May just recently asks for some projects to fund. So, but I do have quotes for those if we have the opportunity to submit them.
And let's not forget Avery Avenue.
Oh, I keep forgetting that one, Pat. Now, Pat's probably going to be, because it's one camera, if we can tie it in, it's not going to be part of a grant. We're probably just going to use some of the funds we have from ARPA or something like that to put that up.
Thanks, Chief.
You're welcome.
That will be all for me, Madam President. Thank you.
Thanks.
Before I jump into mine, I have to go back to item 11 really quick. So the draft lease, I think Michael Collins answered this, but the draft lease termination clause says 120 days, but the ordinance says 30 days. So would this be something that needs to be amended, or is it actually 30 days and not 120 days?
So actually, the lease is with the Department of Assessment, so I'll defer to Commissioner. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Counselor. Matt Ojik, Commissioner of Assessment. Yeah, we had a quick conversation with Brenda Mohammed this morning. That was a good catch by her. We negotiated 120 days. That should be reflected. John, I think if you haven't already, you'll be hearing from law with an amendment to that.
Okay, so
And
we'll change it, it'll be set on Monday.
It will be, yes.
Okay.
To clarify, 120, not 30.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thanks, Counselor.
And to my items, I have items 32, 33, and 34. Item 32 and 33 were just amendments, so those ones are ready. And item 34, blessing, 34 is ready as well. So I'm all set.
Thank you. And with that, I need a motion to adjourn. Second?
Aye.
Have a good day.